Morning. We're here at match day 9 at Musa Stadium in Pearland, Texas for the Sky Exchange Night ICC Cricket World Cup League 2 ODI Tri-Series supported by Dream.
Yeah, boys are serious. They're still, focused to the game for the tournament and having fun either. So it's the atmosphere and the environment is good in the dressing room and in the hotel aspect as well. So yeah, that's the scenario right now.
Any changes to your 11 today?
Yeah, we've got 3 changes. Both the openers coming back into the side, and we've got Adil Alam in place of Binod Bandari.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Monank, what would you have done if you had won the toss?
Would have bat first. The wicket looks fresh, and we've been doing good when we are batting first. So, but bowling first. Bowling first would be not a good or bad idea. So, happy with that.
We're expecting a big crowd today, big support from the local community here in Texas, but also a lot of support locally from the media. You got some opportunities with some of the local television affiliates, and also an opportunity to go out to the Houston Astros game last night and get a big reception from that event. What has it been like for you, being captain, to be able to represent USA and take part in some of these experiences that are giving bigger exposure to cricket in America? Good work from Monank Patel to keep Asif Sheikh honest. You see M. Sheikh, it's for Muhammad Asif Sheikh. He's known by Asif Sheikh to most of his teammates. He's got Asif on the back of his shirt. And there's the Dolly banging away the drum for the USA. That's Amar Moturu, and he's gone all out today. to make a big poster for Ali Khan. He's wearing an Ali Khan jersey, a very rare Ali Khan jersey, an ICC Americas jersey. That's from 2016. And this one is the first run off the bat into the leg side. You get the Nepal fans animated early and often. Told the story on air a couple days ago. Amar Matsuru, a young fan out here in the Houston area, who made a special connection with Ali Khan. He's one of the most loyal fans here in the Houston area. Ali Khan gave him his ICC Americas jersey as a gesture of thanks for when Amar was the only fan who would come out to Musa Stadium to support the USA players going back several years. As this time, Kushal Bertel gets a run off the bat to get off strike. And Amar, he's got the Dolly. He's at the Dolly. He's been here throughout the week, and he's gone out in between games, and you could see it on the camera there on the West Grandstand. He's had a picture of Ali Khan blown up into a huge poster. That's how much he loves Ali Khan. And he's going to be making noise, banging that dole throughout the day. He's a huge Ali Khan fan. As Jones cuts that one off in the covers. We've seen a lot of historic firsts here, Aman Patel. Aman is here in the commentary box with me. A lot of historic firsts. First ODI, 213th ODI ground in the world. A lot of USA flags in the ground, USA jerseys. That's the first time I've seen a huge player photo blow-up poster like that at a USA cricket match. Aman, what do you think?
First time I've seen it as well, and it's exciting. You know, it feels like we're going to see that more often. It might be inspiring some of these players to, especially Ali Khan, getting to see him consistently throughout the day.
Slight hesitation going back for the second. I haven't seen a Nepal sign, though. So in the sign stakes, it's USA 2, Nepal 0 at the moment.
Well, when Nepal lacks in signage, they make up for in verbiage and audio, because we saw them coming out for the anthems chanting Nepal, Nepal, Nepal. So they're very loud. They're going to make up for the lack of signs.
And this time, Bertel coming down the track to negate the swing. Just prods this into the offside. 2 runs in the over. 8 for no loss after 2. And now here's a look at the USA squad. Just one change. Nisark Patel coming in for Nash Kenjige. Nisark sat out the last 2 matches for USA. And you can see Ali Khan with the new ball. Stephen Taylor, Sushant Madani at the top of the order. Manoj Patel, the captain of USA, and there's 2 teenagers there. Yasser Muhammad, we'll see him bowl his leg spin later on. And Rahul Jarawal, who's going to bat in the middle order. They made their debuts earlier in this tour. And Saurabh Netravalkar, USA's all-time leading wicket taker in limited overs cricket. With Ali Khan, who's fresh off a 5-wicket haul. Aman, 5 for 20. Career best figures for him. Special day, more history being made, as I said. Another historic moment for Ali Khan. What was your take on his performance the other day?
Well, it was a bounce-back performance. If you remember, didn't have the greatest opening spell, and then you talk about at the end, I think he had 5 wickets for what did you say, Peter? 3 runs? 4 runs. So you talk about him in the death. We've talked about him as a death bowler and the Yorker King. He reigned supreme on that day. It was very, very impressive. The tail back, the reverse swing was great to see, and he's going to look to back that 5-wicket haul with another great performance.
And Asif tries to whip this one off his pads. Can't get it away. Calling him Asif because his brother is Arif Sheikh in the team. So just to distinguish the 2 of them, you see M Sheikh on the scorecard. There's Muhammad Asif Sheikh and Muhammad Arif Sheikh. Call them Asif and Arif to distinguish them. So that's Asif out there opening the batting. We saw Arif bowling medium pace. Asif will be keeping wicket today. You'll see Arif standing next to him at slip when he's not bowling. And the bouncer shows the intensity that Ali Khan is bringing to the table, but the Nepal fans are loving it because it's signaled to wide. Just tailing down the leg side is Leslie Reefer Jr. Signals an extra for the total to be added to Nepal. And it is Vijay Malala who's standing out there with Leslie Reefer Jr. today. Leslie Reefer Jr. standing at the Pearland end. There he is on screen now. And Vijay Malala is at the Massey Ranch end. And a gorgeous back foot punch. It's going to get 4 runs. First boundary of the day. Whips the Nepal fans into a frenzy.
And there they go. That's exactly what they wanted to get off to a good start. Get a boundary. Get it going here in the power play. And climb that back of the length delivery quite well. Pushed it into the gap through the covers. We've seen time and time again Manoj Patel, Sushant Madani do the same thing. Play a similar shot. The ball here. Not going to just sit like laying ducks. Take a look at this. And he went back of a length. It was just...
And a gorgeous backfoot punch. It's going to get 4 runs. First boundary of the day. Whips the Nepal fans into a frenzy. And this time, Asif can't get bad on this.
You can see Asif saying the hand motion from Ali Khan as you see Vijay Malala on your screen. That swing away from Ali Khan, creating problems. We've seen more swing here in the second part of the series, especially early on.
Sushant Madani doing the fielding in the covers. This is a fresh wicket, brand new wicket being used today. First time all tour here in the 9th ODI. They've been rotating pitches throughout. There's 3 strips on this square. And you can see there's no footmarks really, hardly any wear and tear compared to the 2 strips that are to the left of everybody watching this broadcast on ICC TV. Around the world, fan code in Nepal and throughout the subcontinent. And Willow TV in North America. That's how shiny this wicket is. You can see the reflection from Asif Sheikh standing there. It's a brand new pitch from Samuel Plummer.
Another masterclass from Samuel Plummer. And we had a lot of questions the other day about the shine. Well, shine hasn't gone away.
And another sumptuous drive through the covers. Gets loud roars to end the over. Another boundary. 17 for none after 3.
Yeah, that time Ali Khan just got a touch too full. And Asif Sheikh to just use his hands, free it through, and drive it through the covers. And the Nepal faithful, they erupt. Again, they know that they have to get off to a better starter here in the power play. And Asif Sheikh making sure of that.
One other thing to read out today for everybody tuning in case you haven't been joining us throughout these back-to-back ODI series, USA taking on Scotland and the UAE first, and now USA taking on Nepal and Oman today. As you see another angle of this cover drive to the boundary. This is by far the hottest day of the tour in Texas. And it means adjusted playing conditions. Match referee Rion King and the umpires agreeing with both teams that we will have a third scheduled drinks break because it is so absurdly hot here, and not just hot but humid, incredibly sticky. The forecast today is supposed to climb over 100 degrees today, the hottest day of these back-to-back SkyExchange.net ICC Cricket World Cup League 2 ODI Tri-Series. 101 degrees Fahrenheit is supposed to be the high today here in Pearland, and that's around 38 degrees Celsius. And on top of that, the humidity make the heat index climb above 110 degrees Fahrenheit is what the real feel is going to be like, and well over 40 degrees Celsius. So because of that, the match officials have agreed to have a third drinks break. So instead of having an hour and 10 minutes between intervals and drinks, it's going to be 55 minutes. 55 minutes for the first interval, and then another drinks break the next 55 minutes, and then a third one 55 minutes later. So they want to keep the players hydrated, keep them safe. We saw Monank Patel have some issues with the heat. He was getting sick on the field after a day in which he scored a century and then had to keep wicket. He wasn't able to make it through to the end because that's how stifling the conditions were. And I think that also may have sparked the decision, a wise decision by the match officials to have a third scheduled drinks break. And you'll see players get drinks run out quite regularly in between that as well. Just as long as they make it efficient, the officials have all agreed. They're willing to offer some flexibility today in that regard.
Well, the players are going to be happy at the moment because there is a big cloud covering the sun, keeping them cool. There is a breeze, so just for the moment they're escaping some of the heat, but it's still very, very hot even without the sun shining and beating down atop these players. And again, as you see, there's plenty of clouds in the sky right now. We have the cloud to the right of your screen covering up the sun.
And Netravalkar getting a little bit of extra bounce. And that's why you see Sushant Madani in there at slip. Typically you see Stephen Taylor in its slip. This is a little bit unusual that Taylor, at this stage of the match, is not standing next to Monank Patel. But they've gone for Madani at slip. A slight change in the usual power play fielding alignment. Stephen Taylor is so versatile. You can plug him just about anywhere in the field. He's always going to be outstanding. Top edge. Monak Patel is running back. He's not going to get there, though. It's going to clear him. And a poor angle taken by Ali Khan. It should have been kept to no more than 2. But the fast bowler misjudging the ball, backspinning away. And instead of it being kept to 2, it results in a boundary to end the over for Nepal. 5 runs from it, 22 for none after 4.
Yeah, you can see Sarab all over long. He's been going back of a length, just right around the body line. This time, Asif Sheikh wanted to just help it through and above the leg side, got the top edge, and I think, as you mentioned, a very poor angle taken from Ali Khan. Really tried to charge at it, didn't account for any of the ball bouncing and spinning back towards the boundary. By the time he realized he had taken a bad angle, it was already too late. Not the way Nepal's going to want that 4, but they'll take the 4 nonetheless.
And a much different approach taken today with Asif Sheikh and Kushal Bertel opening the batting. Already 22 for none after just 4 overs in the chase. 2 days ago against Oman, Nepal crawled to 30 for 1 after 10 in the end of the power play. And that was with Sunil Damala and Subhash Kakarel opening the batting. Big change in the approach now that they've got a healthier and more robust lineup, a preferred lineup at the top of the order today, Aman.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be very much needed. It's a very nice track to bat on. You're thinking 300. You got to get going in the power play.
No ball signaled. It was down the leg side. Leslie Reefer Jr. had 2 options to choose from, but the overstep takes precedence. And you see Leslie Reefer Jr. wave his hand over his head to signal the free hit. So the Nepal fans are making their voices heard in anticipation of what could be a costly error from Ali Khan.
And again, just the overstep there, pushing it down the leg side. And now Bertel, he gets this little bit of freedom. You know he wants to be aggressive now. There's no repercussions if he chooses to be.
Again, that was down the leg side, so would have been a wide. It would have been an extra regardless, but because it's an overstep, you get the free hit, and the no ball takes precedence. Here comes the free hit. And it's going to be signaled to wide on height from square leg by Vijay Malela, so the free hit remains in play. The free hit delivery has to be one that the batter is able to play at. And because that one is deemed a wide on height by Vijay Malela at square leg, the free hit remains in play. So 2 more runs added here. And without a legal delivery bowled, USA under early pressure.
Yeah, and I think it was a good call from Vijay Malela at the square leg position. It looked like it went over the head. And Ali Khan, he's trying to just rush Bertel, not trying to let him step down the track and free his arms, trying to make him play against the wind blowing from the right to the left of your screen. But the free hit continues.
Deep third man, deep final leg, the 2 boundary riders at the moment. Everybody else in the ring, so he can go over the top if he wants. Slower ball slashed wide of deep third man. Netravalkar has some ground to cover. He's going to keep it to 2.
Yeah, Ali Khan, he goes for the slower ball, but it was very wide of the bat. I think had he been a little bit closer to the body, wouldn't have costed him as many runs. But there you go, Ali Khan, he escapes the free hit without giving up a boundary. But he's still got to come up now and start his over. That was only the first ball of the over. And again, you're talking about 4 runs off 1 delivery. It's basically you hit a boundary if you're in Nepal. It's a great start.
You don't see the slower ball too often from Ali Khan, so he's trying to mix up his deliveries early to keep the ball off balance. We saw him use it very successfully a couple years ago with the delivery that he's lost confidence in the last year or 2, but he's tried to mix it in at times with decent results. It was the slower ball that actually got him his 5th wicket in that 5-wicket haul to clinch the match against Oman.
I think that'll give you confidence to bowl again. If you can take a wicket off of it, you say, okay, I can try this one again when I need it. But as you said, haven't seen it as frequently in the past year or so. Good to see Ali Khan getting the variations back.
And length delivery. This occasion. Yeah, as you said, Aman, the wind is a cross breeze blowing kind of to the northeast today. It was blowing to the northwest a couple days ago. Today to the northeast. So Ali Khan, he's running into the wind slightly. The cross breeze blowing from the leg side into the offside for batter on strike, Kushal Bertel. And a very sharp single, picking on Rahul Jarawala at mid-on. Jarawala, the teenager, usually a wicketkeeper. It's not often you see him without the gloves on, and they decided to attack him.
You can see a different approach here from Nepal in terms of the running between the wickets. I think 2 days ago, they really just let the singles go by early on. They didn't want to test anybody. Today, they've come up with a whole different mindset. They've changed it. They've assessed what they need to do. They've been aggressive both with the shot selection and with the running between the wickets.
Kushal Bertel is a heavy run scorer in domestic leagues for Nepal. He's kind of a late bloomer, 25 years old. Made his debut in 2021, both in ODI cricket and T20I cricket for Nepal. It's not often you see a guy make a debut that late in the Nepal scene at senior level. Represented Nepal under 19s prior to that. Got another teenager making his debut today in ODI cricket, and Adil Alam. We saw Dev Connell, another teenager, make a good start a couple days ago without necessarily being able to convert it. We saw Rohit Paudel, another teenager. Sainik Lamachani, of course, made his debut as a teenager. It's the mentality in Nepal. If you get a good young player, there's no reason to hold them back. And Kushal Bertel is one of the few players to go against type.
Again, Nepal's pushed the youngsters to keep playing. We saw Dave Connell with a big role yesterday with the bat to try to get him going with the ball. As you mentioned, they're really pushing the teenagers up, and Dave Connell keeping some of them away for the moment.
6 runs in the over, 28 for none after 5. There's a look at the series so far. We've had 8 matches played. This is match day number 9. Super Saturday at Moosa Stadium here in Pearland, Texas. For a lot of people curious about the pronunciation, Pearland, the land where they grow pears. It's an easy way to think of it. It's not where they have pearls. There's no lake or deep sea where they've got a lot of pearls that they can harvest. This is agricultural land. If you look all around the ground, you'll see a lot of ranches, a lot of farmland, all in the surrounding area. And that's what used to be really known in this part of Texas. There's Samuel Plummer, the groundsman here at Moosa Stadium in Pearland. He's the reason, everybody. If you're wondering why is the pitch so shiny, you can ask him. Don't ask us. Ask him, the man on the right-hand side of the screen there with the big wide-brimmed hat. And another exquisite punch through the offside beats Yasser Muhammad's diving effort. And it's going to be another boundary to Asif Sheikh. Already 4 fours in his innings.
Samuel Plummer has a lot of stuff in his bag of tricks. We saw Asif Sheikh pull out another one there. glorious cover drive, beating the young teenagers dive, and the fan out in the deep, plucking the ball from outside the fence. That's I'll throw it back in. We're going to take a look at this. Sarab this time, touch fuller, touch wider. And Asif Sheikh able to touch it away. 4 more for Nepal. Look at that angle.
Back to live action. This one just seen off with less drama into the offside. Asif Sheikh. Again, brothers with Arif Sheikh. Asif, 21 years old. Made his ODI debut against Papua New Guinea and Muscat last September. It was a match where Sandeep Lamachane took 4 wickets, and in spite of the fact that they bowled Papua New Guinea out for 134, the match went down to the wire. Took 41 from Rohit Paudel in the middle order to help Nepal get across the line, and a crucial 22 not out from Sampal Kami, and a 2-wicket win, chasing that with 10.3 overs to spare, but made it a lot more dramatic than I think people expected when Papua New Guinea finished on 134. And on that occasion, Asif Sheikh, 30 off 46, opening the batting, second high score in the match, or for his side at the very least, and it was joint second high score in the match.
He's a good player for for Nepal, especially up top of the order. Has 300 runs in his career. A high score of 59 not out. Again, he's played 16 innings since Nepal has been granted ODI status in 2018.
And this time Taylor cuts off his delivery on the ring at backward point. So just the boundary off the second ball. 32 for none after 6. Rusty Tehran. It's going to be the first bowling change, replacing Ali Khan, who couldn't really get anything out of the pitch in his new ball spell from the Pearland end. It's a very flat wicket. Plenty of runs in here. And 2 straight on the legs, flicked out to Nisarg Patel. A deep fine leg for a single.
And you can see that time hesitation on the 2. They elected not to take it. They're just going to have a word about it, it seems like. And Rusty Tehran, he's a good bowler. He's able to get a little bit of overbounce just because of his height and how big and tall he is. Again, I think for the USA bowlers, you've seen it all the time here. Moose said the key is to stay on the length and stay out and about, off stump. Make the batsman work from there. There's not much happening in the wicket.
Rusty so far in this tour, 3 matches, 3 wickets. Very good average. 11.33 average on this tour. He sat out 2 games, nursing just a slight left hamstring injury, but looked like he was fully fit a couple days ago against Oman, and he's maintaining his place in the 11 for USA. Dual international, you see that numerous times over the course of USA's history, representing 2 countries. Rusty Tehran originally representing South Africa, and then he retired, migrated to Florida because he wanted to be a teacher. Good stop on the ring by Sushant Madani, saves 3 runs Outstanding effort at backward point. Rusty Tehran, when he came to America, he wasn't intending to continue playing anything close to professional cricket. He wanted to be an English teacher. Came to Florida to get a degree. And then he got sucked back into cricket, as happens with a lot of the players who played domestic cricket in first-class standard overseas. There's a lot of money to be made in some of the private franchise events that pop up locally in different places around the USA in the holiday weekends, and he got roped into playing in the U.S. Open, which, for people who don't follow U.S. cricket domestically, is one of the most popular events on the U.S. calendar every December. It's held in Florida, and through his performances in that and other events, he thought he might give cricket another go at international level. And this one chopped into the ground behind the stumps. And so we're going to have a ball check here as Leslie Reefer Jr. radios to confirm if this is 5 balls gone or 6. And Rusty, when he became eligible according to the ICC guidelines, a 3-year residency, he qualified as a resident to play for USA, and then he shifted from Florida out to the Bay Area, where he's doing some coaching now in between playing for USA. As this one is steered out to deep third man for 1. So with just 3 runs in the over, 35 for none. Seen that all over America. We've seen it with Xavier Marshall, and he played for, most recently, that's another example, played for the West Indies and then came to New York. And after spending a couple years in New York, qualified on residency to play for USA. Gajanan Singh, another example, played for Guyana Amazon Warriors. The CPL migrated to the Bronx in New York City, and he's qualified on residency. We see that in a couple cases in North Carolina as well, among guys who played overseas professionally and now are in the North Carolina area. I believe Dane Pete is one of those guys, played for South Africa. Now he's very, very busy and active in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, Dane Pete, Obis Pinar. Great to have those guys out there in Morrisville, North Carolina. And again, I think we've seen a lot of overseas players come to the U.S. and maybe not the entire motive was to come play cricket, but they just get sucked back in. And that tells you just how good the cricketing atmosphere is here in America. All across the country, you see guys come over and then they just see club cricket. They say, okay, let's go play. And then they get sucked into some of these private tournaments. And then one thing leads to another. And they're playing nationally. They're playing here in Musa Stadium on a hot Super Saturday against Nepal. So it's a pretty exciting time for U.S. cricket and pretty cool circumstances which all these players got to come in with.
Monik Patel up to the stumps now against Kush Alberto. And Saurabh Netravalkar, the man with the ball in hand, is another example of that. Played for India under-19s, played at the 2010 Under-19 World Cup for India under-19s, which was the last time the USA went to the Under-19 World Cup. And he's teammates with Stephen Taylor now, but he was on the opposite side of the field as Stephen Taylor in a warm-up match that India played against the USA, in which KL Rahul scored a century. I was there for that. Very memorable occasion. And Saurabh Netravalkar had a very brief first-class career in India with Mumbai, but he came to the USA to do a postgraduate degree at Cornell University in upstate New York. Had no intention of continuing his cricket, and it was only after arrival that he realized there's a lot of cricket going on. He never brought his kit bag. He left all of his cricket kit back in India. He was coming to the USA to do his studies, and then all of a sudden he realized where all this cricket was happening. This one is steered to deep third man for 1. And the first time he went back to visit his parents in India, he brought his cricket kit back with him, did his 1-year postgraduate degree at Cornell, and then got a job with Oracle in the San Francisco Bay Area and got back into the cricket scene there. Played in a Southern California 11 traveling back and forth. He would travel back and forth between San Francisco and Los Angeles on the club cricket scene. And when he was representing the Southern California 11 back in 2017, that's how he got on the USA radar with Pubadu Desanayake, because he was one of the best wicket takers on the day for the SCCA team. There's another single is taken here by Sheikh. And the Southern California team that Saurabh was playing for actually beat the USA national team, a full-strength USA national team, right before they went off to Uganda. This was in the spring of 2017. And so then when Saurabh Netravalkar became eligible on the ICC residency guidelines in January of 2018, boom! Fast-tracked straight into the squad.
And it just goes to show how infectious cricket is here in the States and how big it's been and how big it's getting. Getting a lot of these overseas guys not really knowing cricket there is cricket in the United States, and then, as you said, boom, straight to the national team.
And you get a mix. So you've got guys who've come here for different reasons. It's the melting pot of America. But then you've got guys like Yasser Muhammad at Maidan, Rahul Jarawala, Stephen Taylor, guys who are born and bred, learned all their cricket in America. Getting great opportunities here. There's Netravalkar around the wicket. Bangs it in back of a length. And it's hustling Bertel on. Can't get that away. 2 singles in the over at 37 for no loss after 8.
And that was a great over there from Saurabh Netravalkar in the sense of he was just finding the lengths. He came around, changed the angle, and Monik Patel keeping up to the stumps now forced Bertel to play everything in the crease. And again, Saurabh was banging it in. So this wicket where you don't really like to go on the back foot, you just have to get, it just makes Bertel just touch uncomfortable. It was a great adjustment there from Saurabh and Mona coming together. Again, just containing this Nepal attack for a little bit.
Got a lot of fans here coming into the ground. Expected to be the biggest crowd of the week. They're still filing in here at Moosa Stadium in Pearland, Texas. You're watching live coverage of the SkyExchange.net ICC Cricket World Cup League 2 ODI Tri-Series supported by Dream 11. As Rusty Tehran charges in for his second over. And again, we've seen this USA getting their lines wrong consistently with these wides down the leg side. You can't afford to be as poorly disciplined as USA has been here in the early going when you've got such a flat wicket.
Yeah, and again, I thought that they came out on the first match against Oman with a really good game plan, didn't really try to do too much. And we've seen teams, for whatever reason, fall in love with the short ball on this wicket. Again, it is there if you can dig it in, but it's just not a ball that's going to pick up much success here. If you're lucky, you get a dot. If not,
Taylor, fantastic work at backward point to knock that one down.
If you get the short ball wrong, you're looking at wides, you're looking at an easy boundary. To me, the short ball on this wicket especially isn't really what you're looking for. Again, if you just keep it on the body line, you keep it on the length, it's less toll on you as a bowler. And it just creates so much more pressure on the opposing batting side.
Yasser Muhammad, there's the teenager from New Jersey. The young fox from Old Bridge. We'll see him with his leg spin later on. Number 88 on the back of the jersey, but number 1 in the heart of his dad, who's here watching in the family section. And there you see the broader fan section. Tremendous crowd here on this Super Saturday. Fans from all over Texas and traveling in from different parts of America and some even internationally to come watch this occasion. And Tehran making life uncomfortable there for Asif Sheikh, banging it in short, getting him on the gloves, but the 21-year-old still able to get it away for a single.
Again, that time, back of a length, right on the body, right on the gloves of the batters. You take a look at the fans here, and they got the 10 up, and Here's a king stand with the misters blowing down. That's what you're seeing on your screen at the moment.
You see the man with the long lens there. That's Adil Khan. That's Yasser Muhammad's cousin. And the man with the hat and the kind of the pinkish shirt, salmon-colored shirt, that's Nadeem. That's Yasser Muhammad's father. They flew out from New Jersey to watch Yasser make his debut a couple days ago. His ODI debut. He made his T20I debut for USA in Florida against Ireland in December. Nadeem and Adil, part of the family, supporting USA. Monank Patel, his sister, and her husband, Monank's brother-in-law, drove down from Dallas to be here today. It's the first time Harsh, his brother-in-law, and Ashvi, Monank Patel's sister, getting a chance to watch the USA captain in person playing for USA for the first time in USA colors. Special moment for them today. This one is chopped tamely to Monank, USA captain, with the gloves on.
And I think Berto's going to feel he missed out on that one. It was wide enough where you had the opportunity to take it through that point region. But it's been a good recovery here from Rusty Theran. Apart from that one wide delivery, you saw everything on a length, right on the body line.
Most of the jerseys that T10 Sports have been selling are just your standard USA cricket jerseys. As you see, Kuldeep Patel wearing the Krypton jersey there. That's Houston Indians, his local cricket club, former USA national team player and former USA selector. He's in the golf cart. He's been helping out as a volunteer at this event. As Taylor has a shot at the stumps. And we'll have a look at the replay on this. Dicey single. And Taylor's throw was just a bit high, but first crack left open for USA to try and capitalize on to get an early wicket. They can't convert it. 40 for none after 9, but as we look at the replay, if we can get a chance to see this one again, this is the closest opportunity USA had this morning for a wicket, Aman.
Yeah, and again, we've talked about how Nepal has been a little bit more aggressive with the running this time. One was the aggressor in Asif Sheikh. The other one electing not to go. Let's take a look at the throw here from Taylor. Had really 1.5 stumps to look at. And it was a touch high. Had he hit, looks to me as if Asif Sheikh would have been gone. But I'm thinking also, had he thrown to the far end and had a little bit more to aim at, I think it would have been out as well. Because we saw Asif Sheikh take off from the very beginning. Berto had a little bit of hesitation. I think had he just looked to the bowler's end, maybe a little bit easier of a throw, I think it would have been a definite run out there.
Back to live action to start the 10th over. And the first power play here. Yeah, it just looks like Taylor airmailed that one. This one's from a different angle, straight down the pitch.
And again, you can see where he's throwing. If you look, Berto's just straightened halfway down the wicket. If he had just turned over to the bowler's end, he'd had a little bit more to aim at. And clearly was nowhere near his crease.
Well, I might disagree. On that angle, it looks like, again, it's from a distance, but you can kind of make out the line, the crease line, and it looks like a lot closer from that down the pitch angle, where at the point where the ball crossed the top of the stumps, Asif, so quick between the wickets, actually might have made his ground. It would have been a very interesting decision for Vijay and Malala to make from side on that end of the ground. And again, the fact that it was as tight as it was from the initial angle, it looked like he was well out, but that second angle, I cast him down on that, just shows how quick Asif Sheikh is between the wickets. We've seen this back foot punch a number of times. One of the most productive shots throughout the morning.
And one of the most productive shots throughout the series, Peter. Again, if you're going to bowl on a length, you had to be able to play with the full face of the bat and just push it around the ground, able to pick that gap at cover. Didn't quite get all of it to send it to the boundary for 4, as Gurjit Singh relays it back, but it ends up being 3 runs. So good running for the 2 Nepali openers.
Yasser Muhammad is waving his arms, rolling his arms to stretch out at mid-on. Taylor with another superb diving stop to save 4 runs in the ring. I wonder if the first spin bowler comes on today could be the leg spinner Yasser Muhammad on a fresh wicket. It'd be an interesting call. USA's got Nisarg Patel as the left arm spinner. Yasser Muhammad bowling his leg spin. Stephen Taylor is an off spin option, but typically we've seen Stephen Taylor come on when there's been a left-hander at the crease. There's Yasser Muhammad, number 88. Made his debut a couple days ago. Took 2 wickets on debut. 2 big wickets, in fact. Got both set batters out for 59, Ayan Khan and Shoaib Khan, and that opened the floodgates for Ali Khan to rip through and get his 5 wickets.
Yeah, and again, maybe they're looking to bring in Yasser from the far end because now if the batsmen try to go through the leg side, they'll be hitting into the wind. Again, we're coming to the end of the power play here. So if you were to bring in Yasser Muhammad, you bring him in from the far end, they have to hit into the wind on the leg side. The only negative part about that would be the wind is aiding them straight back down the ground, just a touch. So you're playing that risk reward.
It's a good shot, though, Aman, because we saw how eager Nepal was to hit into the wind against Kawar Ali. He took 3 wickets with his leg spin. So if you bring Yasser Muhammad on from the Pearland end and you force Nepal to hit against the turn into the wind, because the wind has shifted directions today, that could be a successful play for USA. We're not going to see it just yet, though. At the end of the power play, 44 for none after 10, as Rusty Tehran goes back to his mark. He'll bowl a 3rd over.
And it's been pretty even at this stage of the match. Nepal will be happy. Haven't lost a wicket. Got off to a little bit better start in this power play. I think maybe they're not the start they quite wanted. Stephen Taylor made sure they couldn't pick up a couple of extra runs, but again, they'll be happy not to have any wickets down. They're seeing good intent from their batters. And for the USA, you didn't give up 60, 70 runs in the power play. You're starting to find a little bit more rhythm with the ball now with Rusty and Saurabh.
And Nepal was 30 for 1 after 10 a couple days ago against Oman. And that chase is first ball after the initial power play is steered to Nechvalkar. Deep third man for 1. USA has pushed 1 more fielder outside the ring. Yasser Muhammad is now on the cover sweeper boundary. Got Nisarg Patel at deep fine leg. Nechvalkar at deep third man. Yasser Muhammad is sweeping on the cover boundary. USA can put 1 more fielder outside the ring if they want to, but for the moment, they are keeping 6 fielders inside the ring. They've got a mid-wicket, mid-on, mid-off, an extra cover and a backward point.
And I enjoyed that, Peter, having that extra fielder inside. They've only really scored through that cover area, so you put a sweeper out there to keep that one from 4, along with the 2 you already had outside. No need to bring that 4th one in. Stay aggressive.
And Stephen Taylor and Sushant Madani have just come a touch wider behind point prior to that delivery. Just getting their angles adjusted. USA Madani is now basically at point or cover point, and Taylor much wider at backward point on the offside ring.
And again, you can see Rusty, he's planning to go back of a length, and just in case he gives a little bit of width, I think he just wants that extra protection.
Coming down the track, big heave from Bertel. Didn't quite middle it. And it's going to trickle well short of the road. Again, he's hitting it into the wind on that side of the ground as well.
And that's a shot you'll live with if you're the United States. It was a good shot from Bertelli. Decided to come down early. But again, as you said, Peter, hitting it into the wind. Again, take a look at the split screen view. This is the ball. This is the run out. A little bit earlier ago.
So from the side-on angle on the left, it looks like he's well short. But here,
the ball crosses well later. Yep.
At the straight down the pitch angle, it looks like Asif Sheikh might have actually
made his ground.
And that's why I was saying maybe the bowler end would have been a better shot for Stephen Taylor. But going back to this previous delivery again, Bertel, he's coming down the track. He goes against the wind, tries to loft it over the top. So, again, good intent from Nepal. No fielder out there, so it's a pretty safe shot. But you'll live with that if you're the U.S. He's trying to create something. And on this type of a wicket, you have to make the batsman create something to score.
This is going to look like two. Asif Sheikh, how quick is he between the wickets? Even with a slight collision with Rusty Tehran, he just forges ahead to get that second run.
He's just flying around out there. Again, I think he saw what Nepal struggled with the other day. And they're running between the wickets, a little bit slow, late to get off the mark. He says, not me, I'm going full speed, 100%, and they're not running me out. Again, he's been running like a madman, which not always a bad thing in the cricketing world.
.50 comes up for Nepal, and that's why you could hear that Nepal chants coming from the West Grandstand. And again, they're pushing hard. They're going to have to settle for one this time as hit it a bit more directly to Netravalkar at deep third man.
And again, I think they can sense kind of that the spinners are going to come on and at some point. And we've seen the spinners really tighten the screws. We've talked about it extensively for the previous couple of days. They've really tightened things down. So you got to take advantage of the Pacers when you're not getting those boundaries. At least make it one. At least make it two. Just keep the runs flowing whilst the Pacers are out there, because the spinners have been rather difficult to go after.
And they're going to push hard for two here. Big gap. Gajanat Singh tracks it down, though, to keep it to just one to end the over. So 8 runs from this over. 52 for no loss after 11. And we'll have a look at this partnership in progress. Opening stand, half century. Moving along, Nepal didn't get a single half-century partnership in the loss to Oman. That's part of the reason why they struggled to get to that total and ultimately fell short. They just didn't get any significant partnership generated, and instead, it's a different story today. Right from the first ball, these two have put on a superb effort at the top of the order.
Yeah, again, and they've come up with a very different approach and a much-needed approach from the other day against Oman, where they were a little bit stagnant. They just kind of put the bat down. These two, they've been active early, and that's the important part. They've taken the attack to the USA bowlers rather than letting the bowlers come to them.
Nisarg Patel is going to be the first spinner on for USA today with his left arm finger spin. Sweep against the spin, but with the wind. That's the calculation they're taking, and they get 2 runs. Great effort out at deep backward square by Madani to hold that to just 2 runs.
Again, I'm okay with that if you're the USA, because, again, they had to play that cross-bat shot. They had to play that sweep against the turn, as you mentioned, but, again, on this ground, it's not been easy to sweep. Oftentimes, you'll see the bat come over the ball. The bounce has been consistent, but it's just a touch lower than what some of these guys are used to. But for Nepal, I like the attitude, the aggressiveness. They're going to go and take the attack. Look at this replay here, and great work on the boundary from Sushant Madani.
Might be a good thing there's no third umpire in place.
Yeah, I was just about to say that one, Peter. I thought that foot had come down whilst he was touching the ball. Again, obviously, as a fielder, it's hard to know where your feet are whilst you have the ball in your hand, but maybe good there was no third umpire indeed.
So for everybody who's just joining us this week, despite the fantastic production that IMG and Cricket Clubs have set up for this series, all umpiring decisions are going to be made on field by the match officials in the middle. That's catches, that's line decisions, and that's boundary decisions. And the attempt to reverse sweep. Bullseye! Nisarg Patel. They were cruising along, and again, hitting into the wind. I don't like that option just because of the conditions at play, Aman. Yes, he's trying to hit with the turn, but into the wind, that's the risk he's taken when there was really no risk necessary there at that stage of the partnership.
They had plenty of runs to that over, and I told you when the first sweep was hit, I said, if you're the USA, you're living with that shot because the wicket is always open, especially on this ground when they start to play those sweeps. Look at it right here. Try to play with the turn of Nisarg Patel. He'd been expensive early, but he's come back, again, committed to the sweep early. It was on stumps, and Nisarg elated with that. Again, just take a look. It's right on stumps. He's going very early to the reverse. And what do we say? Again, the bat over the top of the ball. Take another look. The bat will come over the ball. The bounce is not low. It's very consistent. It's consistently there. The USA will take that when the first wicket goes. And a pretty soft dismissal, if you want to say that for Patel.
I'm a fan of the shot when it's in the right conditions. If you're hitting into the wind, both things have really got to be going in your favor. You got to be hitting with the turn and with the wind. He's hitting with the turn there, but he's hitting into the wind. And again, when you've been cruising along and you haven't needed to force the issue there, it's a peculiar decision when you're not under pressure. If you're under pressure and you need a release shot, I can understand maybe going for a risk there, but the risk just did not match the situation on that occasion, and it means Dev Connell comes to the crease as we've had the first drinks break taken here in Texas. Again, we're going to have 3 scheduled drinks breaks because of the increased heat today.
Yeah, and to your point about not needing to play that run, there's exactly right. You saw them have the 2 runs, then they got to 4. And again, if you wanted to go get your run, you could just push it to long off, as you did just a little bit earlier. He was the one who pushed it to long off for a quick single. That option was very much available. There was no need to try to force the issue here. You had a lot of success, and now you got to start from 0. You saw Dave Connell play well, but now he's got to start to build a partnership with Asif Sheikh.
So Dev Connell, who got a very good start but didn't convert it a couple days ago against Oman. The teenager comes to the crease, playing just his 4th ODI.
And he played well yesterday. Again, we talked about it extensively. He played really well yesterday. Understood what he wanted to do. Just kind of played it around, and you can see PJ Goodall's. He's excited. Love the wicket. He's trying to get the U.S. faithful going and try to rival the Nepal faithful in terms of noise. They got him beaten maybe with the signage.
Love the Hawaiian style. PJ never lets the American fans down. He's got the good old Hawaiian floral shirt mixed in with the stars and stripes on his shorts, on his hat, and in his hand, waving it very, very proudly. PJ Goodalls, who's now based in the Houston area, just on the north side of Houston. And there you see some of the Nepal fans who've been quietened down a little bit by that wicket. 56 for 1 after 12 overs.
Again, Dave Connell had a good innings yesterday, a good start yesterday, and just threw it away with a slog sweep. But again, you can see it's Super Saturday here at Musa Stadium, and that means the fans, they're packed out, they're excited. We had 500 tickets sold, and I'm sure there's more walk-ins as well.
Saw a fan there wearing a Yordan Alvarez Jersey, one of the stars of the Houston Astros, as this one beats Taylor, and it's going to beat Yasser Muhammad at deep third man as well. Boundary gets the Nepal fans back into a frenzy to start this 13th over.
Yeah, just what the doctor ordered for Nepal. You lose a wicket. Rusty Theran this time, he just went away from the length. Just a touch fuller. And finally able to convert on one of these cut shots. Was Asif. Take a look at the angle. Okay, not too much room. Wasn't a terrible delivery, just a great shot. Got on top of it. Able to evade Stephen Taylor at point and Yasser Muhammad at third man for 4 runs.
This one much more watchful back to Toronto. Yeah, we saw the Yordan Alvarez shirt, jersey out there in the Academy gazebo. Houston Astros star. And the USA squad last night were guests of the Houston Astros. Fan has wandered away now, but we'll find them again somewhere in there in the Academy gazebo. USA squad was welcomed onto the field at Minute Maid Park before the start of play between the... This one is going to be a top edge. Will it carry? It's going to fall short of Madani on the rope at cover sweeper. It was in the air for a long time, and the wind was taking it towards him, but just didn't have enough to carry for, fortunately, from the Nepal perspective. Fell well short as they just settle for a single there, and Connell's going to take hard. But the Houston Astros took on the Miami Marlins last night. It's a bit interesting in the being around the USA squad because they're guests of the Astros. A lot of the guys were supporting the Astros, but Stephen Taylor, born and raised in South Florida, he was cheering hardcore for the Miami Marlins last night. He got his wish. 3 home runs in the first inning, 2 of them by the Marlins. Jazz Chisholm with a leadoff homer to start the game. Marlins second baseman. And Stephen Taylor was going wild for the Marlins. He was the happiest guy in the USA squad section. Everybody else was getting behind the Astros, but Stephen Taylor was very pleased with the result last night. The Marlins coming out on top of the hometown Astros here, 7-4. The USA players had a great time at that game last night.
Yeah, and Stephen Taylor must have been very excited. One of the very few wins for the Marlins.
Yeah, the Astros are a first-place team for people who don't follow their baseball. Houston Astros, they're the defending American League champions. They lost in the World Series last year to the Atlanta Braves. Defending American League champions, first place in the American League West. Marlins in 4th place in the National League East, way behind my New York Mets. And Marlins on a 4-game win streak, though, after last night's game.
They turned the tide around, and Nepal hoping to do the same. And Nepal faithful hoping they can do the same after coming out with a loss against Oman just 2 days back.
And this one nearly chopping it on. Asif Sheikh with a close shave. And it's going to bring about an end to a 6-run over, 62 for 1 after 13. As you can see now, the Oman squad has arrived into the ground. That's Kalimullah in the red shirt, the big tall fast bowler, and to his left, Bilal Khan with the hat on. In fact, they're actually just leaving. They got here early to get all their training out of the way because it is going to be so ridiculously hot as the day gets longer here in Pearland. Again, the temperature is supposed to climb above 100 degrees Fahrenheit once the cloud cover disappears. The players have been fortunate enough to get some respite from some cloud cover here this morning, but once the clouds move on, it's going to be extremely hot and sticky. By far the most uncomfortable day anticipated here, which is all the more reason why these fans should be applauded. Come out here, the biggest crowd of the Tri-Series that USA has hosted on a day that's going to be an arduous one for the fans. They have had some tents erected that were not here earlier in the week. Saki Muhammad and Musa Stadium staff doing their best to make sure the fans are looked after. There's some misters in the King's stand to keep the fans feeling refreshed. And then They've put up some extra tents for some shaded cover, make it a little bit more comfortable here. You've got the Academy gazebo on the northwest side of the ground. We saw earlier some fans in there, and then some other fans have brought some of their own tents to set up. There's the big tent that's been set up to give the fans a little bit of shelter here at Moose Stadium.
And as you said, Peter, the fans, they're loving it. Should be applauded for coming out on such a scorching day. And both fans' bases have had something to cheer for. We had the wicket for the USA, and for Nepal, you've had those boundaries coming through. We saw the one sweep, the one cut, a couple cover shots. And this is what we're more accustomed to from the spinners. Couple of dot balls, only giving up maybe 3 runs in the over.
Great work again, Stephen Taylor. He's been a magnet this morning for the ball. He's done some fantastic work, saving a number of runs for USA in that region at backward point. And he cuts off another scoring opportunity. Just 2 runs in the over at 64 for 1 after 14.
We might need to get a metric of how many runs Stephen Taylor saved throughout the day, because, again, you can point to a couple of times already this morning, him at backward point. We talked about him not being... Oh, look at signage, Peter.
So this is, again, a sign of the melting pot. That is America. So Amar Monturu brought the Ali Khan, hey, Hamari Shan sign. That's another one that Amar Monturu has brought in and put up there. Chak Day America, America's Zindabad. So usually you get the Chak Day India chant, and Ali Khan with the link with Calcutta Knight Riders and Trinbago Knight Riders, owned by Shah Rukh Khan, and Shah Rukh Khan had the movie Chak Day India, and then you've got the Pakistan Zindabad chants. Well, Amar Monturu, he's melded them together. Got Chak Day America and America Zindabad. Love it.
America's going for it. He's looking for the American team to long live long.
So Chak Day, what is most accurate? Chak Day, let's go America.
Go for it, America kind of deal. That would be my best translation for it. And for Zindabad, it's long live, so long live America.
Those are the 2 most common chants you'll hear. Again, for the India fans, Chak Day India. You'll hear the song. You'll hear when I've been in Lauderhill, when India toured in 2016 and 2019, when a wicket's taken or a boundary scored, to get the fans going even crazier than they would, they play the Chak Day India. As Yasser Muhammad is on for a spell of leg spin here, and teaming up with a teenager, Rahul Jarwal, his fellow teenager in the squad at mid-on. And there again is the melting pot. You got Yasser Muhammad, Pakistani heritage, born and raised in New Jersey. Rahul Jarwal, Indian heritage, born and raised in California. It's the melting pot of American cricket, embodied by that sign and embodied on the field of play. As sharp running is going to see them come back for 2, taking on Ali Khan's arm at wide, long off.
Yeah, and again, they bring him on from the Pearland end because the wind is blowing from the right to the left of your screen, blowing to the east. So now if they
Chak Day India.
that you might get some medical bills, Peter.
Three runs in the over as the single ends it 67 for 1 after 15. I'm Peter Delapena here at Musa Stadium with Aman Patel, where we're bringing you live coverage of the SkyExchange.net ICC Cricket World Cup League 2 ODI Tri-Series, supported by Dream 11 on ICC TV around the world, Fan Code in Nepal and throughout the Asian subcontinent, and Willow TV in North America. Hope you're enjoying the coverage today. Let us know where you're watching from. Send us a tweet at Peter Della Penna, Peter DellaPenna. As this one is going to be two collected by Rusty Tron before being relayed in. You can also get my man AP, as the fans around the world have dubbed him, Aman Patel, at AP Sports News _. Don't forget the underscore, or else some other person is going to be wondering why on earth they're getting cricket tweets.
Again, for the Nepali batsmen, it's all about trying to milk those singles here with the spinners on. Don't try to do too much. Again, Dave Connell got caught yesterday trying to make a big heave to the leg side. Play with a straight bat, young man.
Taylor with another great effort. Another cool shave, but it's going to be overthrows as Yasser Muhammad is not going to be able to cut this off with a backup. It's going to be 4 overthrows in addition to the singles, so 5 runs total. Muhammad was a little bit slow to react on the angle there from Taylor. Muhammad is at long on, and Taylor in the offside ring. He's got to get a better backup effort from Yasser Muhammad, who was really quite stationary until well after the throw was released.
Well, how about Gajanan Singh, who's in the circle, who was right behind him, put out a dive. He went out to his left and then came back right. Again, I know Yasir had to run a long way across. Gajanan Singh gets a hand to it.
Not often you get a 5 on the scorecard on your screen. Those are not penalty runs. Those are all runs credited off the bat, even though it was Stephen Taylor's throw that sailed the ball to the boundary. Everything, once the ball is in play, is credited to the batter. And Dev Connell is definitely not going to complain about that.
You see, using his feet there, something we've seen again proven very successful. At Musa Stadium's use of the feet. Coming down the track to the spinners. Not much turn on offer, so you get to the pitch of the ball and you can kind of maneuver it wherever you want to.
This time, Sheikh will just prod it back to Nisarg. So a 10-run over, 77 for 1 after 16. Here's a look at that run-out chance from Taylor.
And you feel for Gajanan Singh, he made all the work behind the stumps just for the throw to come well in front. And you can see Yasir sprinting at the tail end of that one.
And this is something I talked about with Andrew Leonard on air in one of the earlier matches. The lack of rotational backup fielding practice and simulation in these things. You see it from the time you're 5 years old in baseball. That's all you do is practice fielding. And some of these rotational simulations, I feel like cricket teams could do a better job of practicing, because Gajanan Singh, he really ran too far there.
Yeah.
He should have been staying much more square on his backup on the angle that he had. He overcompensated on his backup angle, going much more closer to where Yasser Muhammad was.
Absolutely.
And as a result of that, he was caught wrong-footed. He should have stayed a little bit more closer to the point side. Instead, he came far too more closely to the third man side on that angle, and that's where the chaos ensued.
Yeah, Yasir Muhammad getting lucky on this one, gave Dave Connell the full toss, and the 17-year-old hits it right back to the 19-year-old.
And a cool shape here. This might be buys. I'm not sure if it came off the bat. If it did, it's quite an extraordinary shot. No, it's going to be buys. So the signal from Leslie Reefer is indeed he didn't get bat on it. We saw it happen a couple days ago as well. Extra bounce, producing 4 buys.
And again, just a little bit of overbounce on it. Beats the bat, beats the gloves of Monik Patel, and the googly creating a little bit more bounce than what the captain was ready for. Again, not the way you want it if you're Nepal, but you'll take it. 4 more.
Connell with a single.
And Yasser, you've seen him today. He started his lengths much fuller. He's made it a point of emphasis to really go fuller. I heard him talking to his team the other day, and they asked him to rate his performance. He came out with a 4 for his debut. That's 4 out of 10, and again, I think it's because of the short balls that he bowled. He dragged him down quite often today, preferring to be too full rather than be too short.
2 runs off the bat, 6 runs in the over, 83 for 1 after 17. We're just going to try and get a look at the replay on that overthrow opportunity. And again, this is what I was talking about. So you'll see Gajanan Singh come from the left side of the screen. Yasser Muhammad, you'll see later on from the right side of the screen. Gajanan Singh has protection on the right side of the screen in the form of Yasser. He comes way too far to the right, overcompensates. If he stays from mid-wicket, which is where he was, that doesn't happen. We're back to live action as a sweep comes off the top edge, and it goes well wide of Ali Khan in the ring at fine leg for a single.
Yeah, and again, I completely agree. I think Gajan Singh just really overran it and caused the little miscue there. But we've seen Asif Sheikh been very, very eager to play the sweep shots. Go across the bat. It is with the wind, but it is against the turn. Again, on this ground, the sweeps haven't really proven to be effective, but it hasn't stopped him from playing his shots.
This one's going to be wide of Saurabh Netravalkar. Long off, but not wide enough for them to feel comfortable to take on a second run.
Again, these two doing a really good job with the spinners in play, keeping it running and keep the runs flowing.
This is going to be 2. Yasser Muhammad has got a lot of work to do to track this down. They got it wide of Gajanan Singh in the ring. And it takes Asif Sheikh now to 48.
Again, he's come up with the approach. He's come up with the mentality of, I'm getting it done here. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm taking the attack to the bowlers. He's not waiting for anything to come. He understands that this wicket is good to score on, and he's using it.
And this is going to be at least 2 more. And the Nepal crowd erupts on the west boundary. They're on their feet to applaud a half-century, second in ODI cricket for Asif Sheikh as he raises the bat to the roars on the west grandstand.
It's been a brilliant knock from Asif Sheikh, and you can hear how much the Nepal fans are loving it. Again, he's coming with the approach of taking it to the bowlers. He's not going to sit idly by. He's gone after it. He's been rewarded with a brilliant half-century, getting the Nepal fans really amped up here. You can hear it on the stump mic. You can hear it in the comm box without the stump mic, Peter.
They are, you said it, amped up. I'm on career best coming into today, 90. How was against Oman at Al Amarat last September. The Oman Cricket Academy. And the way he's batting right now, I'm on, wouldn't be surprised if he goes even better than that today, because this is a very, very flat wicket. 8 runs in the over, 91 for 1 after 18. Peter Delapen and Aman Patel on the call here on SkyExchange.net. ICC Cricket World Cup League 2 ODI Tri-Series supported by Dream 11 at Mosa Stadium in Pearland, Texas. As we've got a slight delay here with Physio coming out to have a look at Asif Sheikh. We've got some tweets that have started to roll in as Arjunan Etivira Singham, former board member during the USACA era of American cricket in the mid-2000s and still follows the team around the world. The USA national team says he's watching from Colombo, Sri Lanka. Thanks for tuning in again, Arjunan, a very loyal fan of the USA national team. Jason Gaddies, who's been following along all series long, watching from a reservation in Michigan. I'm not even going to attempt to try and pronounce that because I know I'm not going to do it justice. Maybe you can give us a phonetic pronunciation, Jason Gaddies. As Yasser Muhammad gets ready to start his third over. And too full, too easy to punish through the offside, through the extra cover boundary.
Again, we've seen Yasser today elect to be too full rather than to be too short, and that time it cost him. It was full, it was wide, and just allowed Dave Connor just run his arms through it, throw his hands at it, and really a vacant extra cover region. It's too easy for Dave Connell. He's shown he's a quality bat. Yasser's got to find a way to pitch it in the right spots. That's where he struggled. Just finding the lengths.
Inside edge is a googly. Produces all that goes in between the legs. Here's that full toss. Just floats it up with a bit too much air. And Connell didn't need to do anything special with it. Just dumps it through the offside hole on the turf. Back to live action. And this one sits up too short now to be flicked out to long on for a single.
That time just overcorrected. On it again, just got too short. Again, we've seen Yasser had a lot of success. He has the googly, he has the regular leg spinner. If he hits the length, that's where he picked up his 2 wickets just a couple days earlier.
Jones picks that one off in the ring. Cheer on GV Subedi, watching from Cincinnati, Ohio, wondering what could be a winning total for Nepal on this wicket. What's your take, Aman?
Well, he said 250 plus at the end of the tweet. That's definitely where you want it. If you can get it above 300, that scoreboard pressure is something that has really played a factor. So looking anywhere at 300, you feel really good.
Well, I've introduced the set a number of times as Jarawala collects that and relays it in for one. USA has never chased a total more than 257 in their limited overs history. You feel like that might be within reach on this kind of wicket, though. Nepal is going to really need to get to 300 to feel extra safe. And even Oman, at the 30-over mark a couple days ago against USA, they were in the hunt. And it was a very dramatic collapse that happened that really made the scorecard look increasingly lopsided for USA, with the final margin being 114 runs. But that's not really reflective of how long Oman was competitive in that chase.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about it. They were in it the whole way through. They really came with a nice fight back. Yasser hit the right lengths, and he was able to get 2 wickets, and that kind of opened the floodgates and ended up making it a lopsided victory for the USA. But as you mentioned, it's a ground where you can chase. It feels you can chase 250. You could chase 300, but there's just a lot of pressure on it. So 300 is where you want to be if you're Nepal.
And just in associate cricket, you don't see an awful lot of 300 chases in general, just because, as you said, scoreboard pressure, and just it's not often you do face a target in associate cricket that high to be able to be experienced in that situation. And the 100 comes up. Huge roars again from the West Grandstand. You can see The sun, red moon flag. Very unique Nepal flag. It's the only flag in the world that's not your traditional rectangle flag. The twin triangles, very distinct for Nepal. As Dev Connell, with very delicate hands, teases Stephen Taylor all the way to the rope. And the Nepal fans are getting louder and louder. Aman.
I love the approach here from Nepal. And again, you saw that one. Delicate hands. Makes the Nepal fans erupt. But they've not, again, apart from a couple of times, they've tried 3 sweeps. But other than that, they've played with a straight bat. They've just pushed the ball around and not piling up dot balls. They're making it a point of emphasis to keep getting 1s and 2s.
Using his feet this time, chipping this. It's cut off by Gajanan Singh in the ring, who is looking so much fitter than he was when he made his USA debut in Oman in September of last year. He's lost about 18 pounds. You see this delicate late cut again that went to the boundary. Gajanan Singh has worked so hard on his fitness in the last several months to make sure he's going to be around for the long haul for USA and be able to score more consistently. Felt like he cost himself a half century in his debut tour in Oman. Got out for 48 just because he was so tired and didn't have the stamina in those conditions. Whereas, in contrast, as he picks up the ball again off the deflection from Nisarg, on this tour, Aman, he's shown how much that fitness work has paid off with some of the performances he's put in with the bat.
Yeah, and again, I think that's a big part of it, the ability, the stamina, the ability to stay in for a period of time and not kind of lose what's going on. It's hot. It's going to be hot everywhere, whether you're going to Oman, you're going to Texas, wherever you are, there's going to be days where it's burning and you're out there for a while, and you don't have the luxury of what these fans of the King Sands have, of the Misters.
In front of Nadeem Saeed, it's Yasser Mohammed's dad, who's got the water bottle in hand now with the pink shirt and the gray cap. In front of him, Rahman Dar, one of Yasser Mohammed, Rahul Jarwal, and Saimul Kamala's USA Under-19 teammates. He's got the grayish shirt in the row of blue chairs, the second row there that's in front of the long lens camera. It's Adil Khan with the long lens, Yasser's cousin, and with the gray shirt with his arms crossed just in front. That's Rahman Dar. Fantastic player in Dallas. Born in Connecticut, right around the corner from WWE headquarters. Tells a story of Triple H coming into a Subway sandwich shop that his family owned. You get these brushes with WWE superstars in that part of the world in Stamford, Connecticut. And what a superstar shot that is from Asif Sheikh, who keeps punishing USA when they get too full. Finds the extra cover boundary again.
Struggling to find lengths here, Yasser Mohammed is. He gets too full. Again, there's no one in the extra cover region. And Asif Sheikh says, thank you very much. Take a look at this. Just able to free up his arms. There's no footer out there that's hit with the wind, with the straight bat. It's a recipe for success here at Musa. He's brought new life into a Nepal batting attack. And it's really given him new form.
Rahman Dar, born in Connecticut, but now a couple years ago his family relocated to Dallas. So he's made the drive down from Dallas to support his friends from the USA Under-19 squad. We're here in the senior team now. This one just off the hands of Stephen Taylor. Another close shave. Had some tight run-out chances. And this time Taylor, who's got such fantastic hands, one of the tallest players on the field for USA, he's down on his knees now in frustration. Because even though it went off his fingertips, he feels like it's one he should have had, and it's one USA needed to have if they're going to get momentum going back in their direction, Aman. You can see the frustration on his face right there.
You can see the hands on his head. Again, Asif Sheikh, he's a big wicket. It's a big man, Stephen Taylor. Can nearly able to get both hands on it and bring it down. Again, tempting Asif Sheikh to play that shot. We saw him play it just a ball earlier from that one. We got it away for 4. He's trying to do the same thing. This time nearly picked out Stephen Taylor. Nearly the breakthrough the U.S. wanted.
We'll get a replay now on that missed chance by Taylor at extra cover.
Again, take a look at it. It's pretty similar delivery as well. He's flighted it up. It's come off the toe end of the bat. And if you just look, he's stretched all the way out, and it's just got the tips of his fingers.
All right, so live action now as this one is whipped out to long on for one. And after that chance, and the camera was still on him, I've watched enough John Boy videos now. I'm on to increase my lip reading skills. You could see Stephen Taylor just mouth, damn it. He knew he was so close. And that's the frustration again. As despite that missed chance, you're not going to get PJ Goodalls to dampen his spirits. He's still rallying behind USA with the American flag behind the Pearland end boundary. PJ Goodalls making the drive down from the Woodlands, one of the suburbs on the north side of Houston, cheering on Stephen Taylor in spite of that missed chance. And Stephen Taylor is going to come on now, one of USA's finest all-rounders, has an opportunity to try and break this partnership with the ball. He's got a golden arm. He's playing in front of his dad. Made the trip out from South Florida. Sylvan Taylor has been here for a few matches now. He's got his USA jersey on. Doesn't have his ICC umpiring hat on. He's here as a dad this week. Got the USA jersey kitted out. And he's going to be cheering hard for Steven to try and break this partnership for USA in the field.
Yeah, and again, they've gone to Steven, who's had the ball just... He's been a magnet to it today. And he always seems to be making an impact.
So Asif Sheikh, who was dropped on 57 by Taylor, now moves to 60 with that single.
Get to me dropped is a strong word there, Peter.
Well, you can see Stephen Taylor felt he should have had it. And in my book, you get a hand, you get two hands to the ball. You got to hold on. It was a tough chance, but Stephen Taylor, the look on his face says he feels he should have had it. As another single is taken. I'm always harsh, Aman.
Unless they're playing the sweep. Then...
Or the reverse sweep.
Then it's okay.
Then it's, I've got a little bit of leeway for these guys, depending on the situation that they play it in. There is, again, a great shot of the fans that have piled in here today. Moosa Stadium, by far the strongest crowd of the week. Big numbers here in Pearland, Texas, just south of Houston. We're about 20 miles south of downtown Houston in Brazoria County on the southeast side of Texas. And now the sun is coming out. The clouds are starting to disappear, and you can see it being much shinier on the field, and that means it's going to get even hotter and hotter. We're near the Gulf of Mexico. About a half hour to the coastline up towards Galveston on the east side, and you get the sea air coming in, creates the humidity. It's going to be 100 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe by midday. We're past noon local time here now, and with the humidity coming in, the real feel is going to be more like maybe 115 degrees Fahrenheit, well over 40 degrees Celsius. It's going to be a major test for USA. Their stamina in the field to have to chase down and target whatever Nepal sets. Taylor just mixing up his pace there to keep Connell off balance.
And Peter, I just want to highlight this. How about Nepal's strategy against the spinners? We've seen through the first series and now here in the second series, the spinners really tighten the screws up. 3 to 4 run overs at most. We've seen a lot of 2 run overs, maybe 1, maybe you've had maidens. Here, consistently we're seeing 5 or 6 runs come in the over, and it's because of the fact that they're just saying, we're just going to tip it around for 1 run, we're going to tip it around here for 2, not do anything special, and they're seeing a lot of success against the spinners.
It's one of the few times, as you said, that run scoring has been happening relatively freely against the slow bowlers. But again, that just shows how true this pitch is. First time it's being used. They've rotated around the other 2 strips. throughout the first 8 matches, but this is the first time they're using this wicket. See, Yasser Muhammad continues with his 5th over. Bit too short. Chipped up, and it's a brilliant catch by Cam Stevenson at short mid-wicket on as a sub fielder. And Yasser Muhammad finds the breakthrough. That one just sat up, and it stopped on him a little bit. Just left the door ajar. Ahmad and Cam Stevenson, spectacular effort at short mid-wicket on as a sub fielder, creates the breakthrough for USA.
Well, it's going to go as a wicket for Yasser Muhammad, but it was all Cam Stevenson on that go. There was a little bit of pop off of the wicket there, and Asif Sheikh is going to feel disappointed. I think he thought he had triple figures on the cards. Kind of a soft dismissal there, but Cam Stevenson giving some life to the U.S. when they desperately needed it. They needed to find a way to break this partnership. Again, just take another look at it. It's not a terrible delivery, but it's not great. We've seen him push it around, and look at that. Hands down on the ground, diving forward. All out attempts. Cam Stevenson, the sub fielder, making an impact right away.
I tell you what, he was great position there, great reaction. Gets his hands just underneath it, going full extension, and he knew he had it immediately. I tell you what, I think he enjoyed that Houston Astros game last night more than anybody. Cam Stevenson, he was soaking it all in, loving it. He had his Houston Astros hat on, taking in the entire atmosphere, and he might have taken some inspiration last night from some of the Astros and some of the Marlins players to pull off that superb effort.
Again, PJ Goodalls, you see him on your screen right now. He was standing behind Yasser Muhammad on the far side of the ground at the Pearland end right before the wicket. And as soon as he took it, he ran all the way down with the flag. Again, giving the U.S. fans something to cheer about and pumping them up.
So it brings Rohit Paudel, vice captain, out to the wicket. And we saw him not afraid to play the sweep shot. He was very aggressive with it, scoring quickly. Got out soon after as well. Couldn't convert a start, but he's off the mark immediately here with a single.
Yeah, and as you see the airplane going through the clouds, I like the approach of bringing. Oh God!
Drag down from Yasser Muhammad, way too short, and way too easy to pull that one behind square for a boundary. So just after the wicket, releasing the pressure and turning the momentum back towards Nepal.
The exact opposite thing the U.S. would have wanted. They would have wanted to start tightening the screws, making those dot balls appear, and a real easy one Yasser Muhammad just gave up.
Better delivery, but too straight. And it's going to be signaled as a leg by off the pads. Great atmosphere building up in the West Grandstand as we see more and more fans continuing to come in. Just one more look at that short ball that just sat way too easily for Dev Connell to pull behind square. And now Paudel with an easy single to Jarawala at long on.
And again, we saw Rohit Paudel the other day come in and just be aggressive in the sense of, yeah, he played the sweeps, but he also was looking to rotate the strike, and I like setting him here because he can kind of just replicate what Asif Sheikh did in the sense of be very quick between the wickets, just look to keep pushing the ones and not create a block in this batting innings for Nepal.
Full toss, too full again, but this time Yasser Muhammad gets away with it. So ends as a 7-run over, 6 off the bat, but the wicket of Asif Sheikh was looking so good. And it means Nepal 125 for 2 after 23. Easy single for Powdle to start the 24th over against Taylor. Again, you usually see Taylor come on against lefties, but he does bowl 10 overs of quality spin regardless of the situation. If he's not threatening for wickets at the very least, he's keeping it very economical for USA. Just like that.
Yeah, and again, what is he doing? He's attacking the stumps, and he's just making the batsman think about it, slowing it down, keeping it quick, doing different things. And as you said, Peter, very economical, even when he's not amongst the wickets. And I think the U.S. brought him on because they were down for options. They're going to let him continue his spell.
And it looks like Stevenson is on as a subfielder at the moment for Saurabh Netravalkar, who is off the field. So we've slightly solved the mystery of who Cameron Stevenson was on the field for when he took that outstanding catch at short mid-wicket as a subfielder. Boundary riders at the moment. Deep mid-wicket, long on, long off, and a point sweeper for Taylor. And a superb over. Following up on the wicket taken by Muhammad. Just 2 runs conceded. 127 for 2 after 24.
And Peter, I talked about it just a little bit ago. Hadn't seen a lot of these types of overs from the spinners where it's just giving up maybe 2 runs. We finally got one. And again, that wicket just created enough pressure, turned the tide just enough to get the U.S. back in the match. Again, it's very even at this stage. But a good way for the U.S. to really put their foot down.
We're going to see pace return now. So just 1 over after Yasir Muhammad takes a wicket. He's come out of the attack from the Pearland end, and it's going to be Ali Khan. And Amar Motoru is back in the gazebo on the west side of the ground, just above the Ali Khan Hay Hamari Shan sign. Ali Khan is our pride. And on the money first up. Much better start than he had with the new ball.
Well, they're trying to replicate what happened against Oman. Pretty similar situation. Yasir Muhammad takes a wicket. They say, Ali Khan, come into the attack. Let's see if you can use the floodgates. And again, I think over the course of really the whole series, I think we've seen Ali Khan bowl better in his second spells anyway than the opening spell. I think the opening spell, he tries to do too much, gets a little carried away with the new ball. Spells have been truly fantastic.
Here you can see how hot it is. Yasir Muhammad, he's got a Texas-sized moist towel brought to him by Saimo Kamal, the sub. He's been using that to rub down his entire body in between deliveries through this over. It's just so hot and humid here. This one whipped just short of Cam Stevenson. All of a sudden, he's in the thick of the action in the last 15 minutes of play here. Nearly another wicket to him.
Yeah, he's come in and he's been a breath of life. It's very hot out here, very humid, so to get a subfielder on is huge. And again, he's been very, very good, very athletic fielder, big arm, but he's doing a lot of good work at short and mid-wicket. But here we go, 3 dot balls piling up, some pressure now on the young Dave Connell. Can they take advantage here, the USA?
Tries to spear in the Yorker. This is a superb over. You can feel the momentum shifting slightly back towards USA as Ali Khan with the stare down, teasing not just Dave Connell but the Nepal fans.
Had a slight smile at the end too. So he's a very intense individual. But take a look at the replay here. Again, Dave Cano came down the track looking to just work it through the leg side. Cam Stevenson just falls short in front of him. Almost a duplicate of what we saw in the previous over.
And finally, Cano gets off strike. Ali Khan bangs it in short, following up the attempted York with a short ball. And Cano, the teenager, is up to the task. Manish Gamire, Nepal fan, says he's watching from 3 a.m. in Melbourne, Australia. Love the dedication of the fans who are watching. ICC TV around the world. Fan code in the Indian subcontinent in Nepal. And if you're watching in America, North America, it's on Willow TV. Another bouncer, and Powell gets on top of it, rolls the wrist to keep it on the ground. Just a single to Rusty Tehran. So 2 runs in the over, 129 for 2 after 25.
Again, another over, just 2 runs coming from it. So the USA starting to slow things down now. So we got fans all over the world, all over the country. At YeshK_41 says he's watching from my hometown, Peter. Says watching from Morso, North Carolina. As you take a look at the match summary, again, it was Asif Sheikh at the beginning who really got things going, took the attack to the USA bowler, 61 off of 70. Patel kind of threw his wicket away with a reverse sweep to Nisark Patel, Yasser Muhammad. Low fortunate that Cam Stevenson was that short mid-wicket to take a phenomenal catch. Was given a 3rd international wicket.
Single to start this over. Yeah, Rahul Joshi, who's one of the owners of minor league franchise down in Florida, the Orlando Galaxy. He's in charge there, and Rahul's got an interesting story. He's been involved in Central Florida for cricket for many years now. Originally from Kenya. As you see the lap sweep here, cut off by Ali Khan, saves 3 runs. Tremendous effort there on the ring by Ali Khan. Saves 3 runs. USA's been really sharp on the ground to cut off a lot of would-be boundaries, or else the scoreline could look even more devastating at the moment. Rahul Joshi, finally someone from USA Cricket makes a play. Well done, Cam Stevenson. And that catch it short mid-wicket.
And you can see just some pressure starting to build now, maybe for the first time on Nepal. The balls are suddenly starting to find fielders instead of finding gaps. And they're just being held on the crease a little bit longer.
And this is going to be good running. Modani can't relay it in time, coming in off the rope. 2 runs.
Yeah, you can see the gesture there from Monang Patel, just saying, hurry up a little bit, just push them. They're going to take 2, try to get there a little quicker. But good running from Nepal. They've been very active between the wickets.
Dot ball to finish the over. 4 runs from it. 133 for 2 after 26. We'll have a look at the batting card at the moment, as we're going to have a second drinks break. Again, if you're just joining us, extremely hot today. We have 3 scheduled drinks breaks here at Moosa Stadium in Pearland, Texas, because the temperature is over 100 degrees Fahrenheit today. Heat index with the humidity is going to make it feel like closer to 110, 115 degrees Fahrenheit, over 40 degrees Celsius. As Asif Sheikh, half-century stand with Kushal Bertel at the start of the innings, and you heard Aman Patel talk about it. Reverse sweep against Nisark Patel right about the end of Kushal Bertel, and then Cam Stevenson was the subfielder who took that superb catch at short mid-wicket off Yasser Muhammad to take the 2 wickets, but Dev Kano is still there. He's got to start for the 2nd match in a row. Can he convert it? That's the question. And there's the bowling figures for USA. 2 half-century partnerships for Nepal generated so far, as Nisarg and Yasser Muhammad, the 2 wicket takers. Saurav Netravalkar economical with the new ball, but USA's had to work really hard to try and find some wickets on this very flat deck produced by Samuel Plummer. That's the state of play at the moment. We're going to take a short break. You're watching live coverage of the SkyExchange.net ICC Cricket World Cup League 2 ODI Tri-Series supported by Dream 11. We'll be back with live action shortly. Welcome back to Pearland, Texas, just south of downtown Houston. We're at Musa Stadium. This play is about to resume. Nepal winning the toss and choosing to bat first. He progressed to 133 for 2 after 26 overs. Ali Khan has got the ball in hand to start his 5th over. I'm Peter Del Pennant, alongside Aman Patel, watching this game here unfold in front of us. The SkyExchange.net ICC Cricket World Cup League 2 ODI Tri-Series supported by Dream 11 as Muhammad with the relay over the stumps. And Monank Patel, I don't think he realized how close that was to a near run out, Aman. If he was closer to the stumps, he could have taken the bails off because that was an awfully risky second by Dev Khanal.
That's what I was thinking exactly. He collected and immediately was looking to throw it to the bowler's end, and I think the call all along was to throw to the bowler's end. That's why he gave Yasser a little bit of a word. But to your point, he might have had Dave Connell. It would have definitely been close, made it tough for the umpire had he taken off one of the bails.
I'd like to get a look at that replay if we can. It'll be an interesting angle as we have another stare down between Ali Khan and the Nepali batter. But this throw was awfully sharp from Yasser Muhammad. And Monank Patel, as you said, turned to look to fire at the bowler's end, but I think he might have had a chance at the stump's just a few feet away. Here's Yasser Muhammad. And here's the relay. No, maybe not as close. Kind of looked like he was in, but Yeah, you said it, Aman. He turns and has a look. It's 22 yards further away from Yasser Mohammed. That's a very long throw from the third man boundary to try and get it to the bowler's end. Big inside edge. Stifled appeal from Ali Khan. Leslie Reefer Jr. wasn't interested. It's actually going to be signaled as a leg by. So it's going to be going down the leg side regardless.
And to Moning Patel's credit, that was the bowlers would probably be the better side to throw to because we saw the little hesitation from Baldal early. Wasn't really convinced to take one. But again, if you take another look at this, had he, again, it would have been tight. I'm not saying that it would have been certain, but I think it's a lot closer than Moning Patel really realized.
He's collecting the ball a few yards away from the stumps, so he's either got to let that go direct if there's going to be any chance. There's a bouncer. Testing Rohit Powdell. Ali Khan having a friendly word with the teenager, the vice captain.
Well, he's done this a couple of times, and you can see a big smile from Saurabh Netravalkar there. He's gone up a little bit more intimidatingly to Dave Connells, looked him pretty dead in the eye, and then leaves with a smile. This time, Rohit Baldal came up with more of a smile, and they were just it looked like they were joking whilst those two were together.
Yeah, you said Saurabh Netravalkar. He's back on the field at short mid-wicket. Cameron Stevenson was on for several overs as a sub-fielding replacement. Netravalkar, left arm opening bowler for USA, back on the field now. As Khan charges in. And spears in a Yorker. It's dug out straight to Netravalkar. So he's gone for the bouncer-Yorker combo. Couldn't get it past Paudo, who's enjoying the contest.
And again, Ali Khan having another conversation with Baldal, the little smiles at the end of it. Ali Khan, he's starting to feel in some rhythm. Can take a look at the replay here from the stump cam. Again, the Yorker King, he's dubbed. He went for it. Well dug out.
Great camera work there. Set up by Umair Khan, leading the IMG and Cricket Club's production team here at Musa Stadium in Pearland, Texas. Bringing you those wonderful visuals. Back to live action now. And Taylor has been so active at backward point. Cuts off yet another run. So 2 runs off the bat, 3 runs in the over. 136 for 2 after 27. Taylor beginning his 4th over. Got a message from Tamang Subash watching at 2:26 a.m. in Japan. This one is pulled out to Modani at a deep mid wicket for just 1. Amazing to see great numbers of Nepalese fans cheering out there in Pearland, Texas. Jai Nepal. Amazing, not necessarily surprising. Wherever Nepal goes, you can rest assured they're going to be supported in big numbers. And they're going to take a quick single picking on Ali Khan at short fine leg.
And again, I think they've identified the fielders they want to go after. Ali Khan has consistently been one of them from the very get-go.
Not going to get it by Aaron Jones on this occasion at mid-wicket in the ring. And again, Ali Khan, he's got a bullseye on his back. He's the guy they're looking to take on for those quick singles.
Yeah, and speaking of Ali Khan, Cameron B says an intense Ali Khan is the best Ali Khan.
Theatrical dive, tumbling over the ball by Netravalkar, who was never going to get there. And it means a single ends a 4-run over. So Taylor, relatively economical in the circumstances. None for 15 in his 4 overs to try and bring back the scoring rate. 140 for 2 after 28 with Connell Yet another player to get a good start for Nepal, looking to carry on to something much more significant.
Again, we've seen time and time again here at Musa Stadium, as you see the Nepali faithful on your screen. You need that one bat to carry on for the USA. You know, the Monak Patel, Sushant Modani innings. For Scotland, Richie Barrington once. We saw Kyle Coetzer do it. Who's the batsman that's going to carry through against Nepal for Oman? Zishan Maksud. Who is the bat here? We saw a bunch of batters get off to a start early and not be able to convert and get to the next point of attack and get to the next figure. Can they do it today?
So we've seen Ali Khan come off now, and Aaron Jones, the streak continues for him. No wicket since 2018. Will this be the day that changes? His part-time leg spin being brought on.
And again, Aaron Jones, he's been consistently accurate, just hasn't been able to get his wicket yet. Come close on numerous occasions throughout the series. But still, like you said, since 2018, in search of it.
Big heave across the line. There's the part-timer. Brings about.
Well, Peter, that's your big no-no. Across against the spin and into the wind. That's not what Peter De La Pena likes, and for someone who doesn't like the sweep option that much on this ground anyway, I definitely don't like it, but I know Peter De La Pena that time was against that sweep.
I love it, but it's got to be it. In the right context, you said it. We saw it be a recipe for disaster. 3 wickets fell to Kalvarali of Oman a couple days ago when they were hitting not just against the spin, but into the wind. And that was the end you wanted Yasir Muhammad to come on from, Aman, where you thought they could tease out some wickets where you're hitting a leg spinner against the turn into the wind. The wind is blowing to the east side of the ground, which is the leg side now where Stephen Taylor is bowling at. So Stephen Taylor is turning the ball into the body, and they're hitting with the wind to the leg side. If you're going to sweep, this is the end you're going to do it from to get maximum value and low risk factor. But this time they just play it off the back foot or a single to get the scoring going in this over. 144 for 2.
Again, they've done a very good job just keeping the scoreboard ticking.
There it is, that paddle sweep. Tries to get it by Ali Khan with the lap, but unable to do it. And again, I don't think that's such a bad option. With fine leg up in the ring, the ball turning into him, and the wind going in that direction, it's a relatively safe shot.
It's not the worst shot in the world to hit. Again, as you said, fine leg in the circle, wind pushing in that direction. You just got to make sure you get all of it.
Saw them picking on Ali Khan throughout the last couple of overs, but that's how crucial that stop was. Denies the single now, pins him on strike. Dev Connell trying to play a release shot, chips it back to Taylor, didn't carry. His teammates were excited, but Taylor not appealing, and that gets some applause from the Nepal fans. And I know Andrew Leonard back in his hotel room is going to be dancing a jig over that one. The honesty from Taylor. And this time he speeds up the pace, beats the outside edge, and concludes a very sharp over that very nearly led to a wicket. Just one run from it, 145 for 2 after 30.
And there you go, pressure here from Stephen Taylor. 5 dot balls to end the over. Dave Connell was on strike for a very long time, got stranded on there. And he was just, again, almost chipping one up to Steven Taylor, almost getting an outside edge back to Monak Patel. This is what pressure does. Take a look at the replay. Again, came down the track, very nearly carried. You can see right there, just a bump right in front. Again, I think I get a great look at it here. Steven Taylor reacted very, very early. Just right there, you could see the bump.
Just a short hop, yeah, just skidded, short hopped into his hands. And VJ Mallow, you could see him at the end there too, gesturing with his hands, signaling he saw it went off the ground. That was his immediate call as well. So not only did Taylor not appeal, but Malella rolled it not out immediately as Saurabh Netravalkar, after one over trialed from Aaron Jones, a part-time leg spin, they've gone back to the left arm pace of Saurabh Netravalkar for his 6th over, none for 17 in his new ball spell, which was bowled from the Massey Ranch end, the south end of the ground. He's coming back now from the Pearland end.
Gotta be careful, Rohit Bal, though, with that little guy down. That one was very close to the stumps, and they haven't connected on a lot of them. You get one wrong, it's always going to angle back on off stump.
This time a much more assertive stroke out to the cover sweeper Madani. As Netravalkar, we've seen him be so dangerous throughout these matches, with Monak Patel coming up to the stumps and Netravalkar coming around the wicket.
Again, it's a good adjustment. Not going to let the batsmen use their feet to come down and play. Not going to let them really sit on it. Going to make them have to play in the crease. And if they want to pull, they've got to pull from there if they want to do anything. Do it while you're attached to the crease.
This one skids just a touch low. The first sign of variable bounce we've seen from the pace bowlers. It's been an awfully true wicket. At times in the earlier matches, we've seen it start to show some inconsistent bounce in the second innings, and Monak Patel is going to have a sharper look at that ball. That's not a good sign for USA with this many runs already on the board for Nepal.
Yeah, again, as you said, stayed low. You can see Connell got on the back foot and just beat the off stump. Very nearly the end of Dave Connell, but as you mentioned, for the USA, will the ball continue to do this?
This one shipped uppishly, and again, we saw the catch at short mid-wicket by Stevenson. We saw a near return catch to Steven Taylor just moments ago, and now this one, the ball just stopping a touch, with Netravalkar mixing up his pace, and almost just hard-handed push. It nearly carried to Ali Khan at mid-off. And we've seen that kind of short mid-off, short extra cover position take an awful lot of wickets throughout these ODIs. I'm wondering if we'll see USA try to employ that at some stage here in the middle overs. Perhaps Nepal in the second innings as well.
A lot of pressure building, as you said, and that could lead to them bringing a short cover into the picture. Again, just the one run coming from the over. There's been 4 dots. Can you make it 4 consecutive dots to end the over, Saurabh?
And this is absolutely tremendous from USA to rally back here in the field. Nepal was cruising at the second drinks break, 133 for 2 after 26. But in the last 5 overs, Nepal has added just 12 runs, USA being really disciplined in the field. And it's 145 for 2 after 31. I'm Peter Del Pena here at Musa Stadium alongside Aman Patel here in the very nice and air-conditioned broadcast booth put up by Saki Muhammad, the founder of Musa Cricket Stadium here in Pearland, Texas. We're comfortable. It's not as comfortable outside in the middle for the players. Hot, sticky, incredibly sunny now. There was some cloud cover earlier as they're going to pinch 2 off Madani's arm to start off this 31st over. Again, temperatures today climbing above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, well above 35 degrees Celsius, well over 40 degrees Celsius if you take the heat index into account, because of the humidity today, it's about 55% humidity was in the forecast. And I've said it a couple times as Khan cuts off a single here, and the run-out chance hits. Dev Connell trying to make his ground. Honak Patel throws up his arms in frustration.
Again, we've seen the pressure building on Nepal. Dave Connell's on the ground. Again, got hit with the ball, and we're hoping he's okay. See them run out some water for him. He's played a brilliant knock so far. But again, the pressure building from the USA has caused Nepal to really be unsure with some of their running. Trying to force the issue now, Nepal. See the spray being dealt out. Hit him on the lower leg.
Take a look here now at the bowling card for USA while we're going to have this delay. Just kidding. We'll get that fixed. Here we go. There's the bowling card for USA. Is Taylor now into his 6th over.
And he's bowled quite well. Hasn't gotten that wicket yet, nearly. But he's created a lot of pressure. And as you said, has been a big part of that rally back in the last 5 overs to keep Nepal from really adding anything to the total.
And currently, a partnership in progress. 29 off 55 balls between these two. Rohit Paudel, who's on strike. And there it is again. The ball just stopping a touch. When you mix up your pace, throw off the rhythm of these batters from Nepal. If you get a short extra cover, short mid-wicket in place, they're always going to be in play. And he goes for the slide sweep. It's one of his favorite shots. One bounce over the rope for 4. And he's going, again, with the turn and with the wind. I really like that shot. It's a safe shot with the conditions at play. I'm on.
With the turn, with the wind, and again, outside the line of stumps. Take a look at it. It was well outside off stumps, so you have the freedom. If you miss, it doesn't matter. And the long on fielder, Yasir Mohammed, he's very straight. So it was there to be played.
Back to live action now. And this time punches it wide of extra cover. You can hear the roars now getting a touch louder from the West Grandstand. Here's the Nepal faithful. This isn't Texas. This is not in Kathmandu. But wherever you go, you do run the risk of it. Nepal fans turning it into a Nepal home game atmosphere, and it's happening again here in Texas today. PJ Goodall's, Amar Matsuru doing their best to show their support for USA, but they're heavily outnumbered at the moment by those Nepal jerseys, the Paras Kotka jersey, the famous number 77. And the umpires just making sure they've counted to 6 properly here on this occasion. And they will call over. So 9 runs from it, 154 for 2 after 32.
To 100 door sales today.
Netravalkar now into his 7th over as we're running close to 1,000 fans here. Biggest crowd by far, by some distance. We had just short of 500 fans for the USA-Scotland match that kicked off these back-to-back ODI Tri-Series, and we're getting close to 1,000 here today. And the fans are still coming in here at Moosa Stadium in Pearland, Texas.
And it's created just an amazing atmosphere. Again, anytime Nepal does anything, you can hear a tremendous outcry. And then anytime the U.S. has a moment when you've seen a wicket fall, you've heard an outcry as well. It's been truly fantastic. You can see the King stand. You see the two tents over there providing some brilliant shade. The fans, they're loving it. They're enjoying it. They're out here in the heat. But everything for cricket.
And we've had so much on our plate on before the broadcast begins, and once it's underway, it literally has just clicked for me how organized the Moosa Stadium crew has been along with the USA Cricket officials. They didn't just get any tents to set up on the West Grandstand. They got red, white, and blue striped tents to keep it in the theme of the occasion. The red, white, and blue. You've got red, white, and blue on the USA. You've got red, white, and blue in the Nepal as well.
And you can see the fans, they're loving it. Loving every moment of it. Doesn't matter, they're in the heat. You can see them all packed around the fence right there. One umbrella. They see themselves on the big board. And they're loving it. Again, it's very, very hot outside. But they don't care. They don't care. It don't matter. They're just having a ball.
And just behind them, you can see that red tent and the Academy gazebo. There's a nursery ground here. It's called the Balkis Field. And that's where the teams have been training when they've not been playing. That's where Oman was training this morning on the Balkis Field. And the Academy gazebo, PJ Goodall's, he's up out of the tent, just a little bit beyond the Academy gazebo. He's waving that USA red, white, and blue, the Stars and Stripes flag. PJ's been here for a number of the matches. He's doing his best to let the USA players know on the field they've got some home team support too. And amongst all those Nepalese jerseys, a sharp single tip and run from Rohit Paudel. This is really good to just break that dot ball streak. Deny Saurabh Netravalkar maiden. So 1 run from the over. But again, USA, after conceding 9 in the previous over, Saurabh ties it down again at the opposite end from the Pearland end. There's PJ. There's the Stars and Stripes here in Space City, Houston, Texas. I took a trip over to NASA headquarters, the Johnson Space Center, yesterday, Aman, and if you haven't been, highly recommend it. We saw PJ with the sign last week. How many countries have played cricket, have been to the moon? And Houston, it's one of the nicknames for Houston, Space City, because this is where NASA headquarters is. And have you had a chance to go over to NASA at all, Aman?
I haven't. I need to get over there, Peter. I saw your pictures the other day, or yesterday, and I just became extremely jealous. It looked like a great time.
It's really an incredible place. You've got so much interactive stuff over there, so much history. As Ali Khan denies a single here. All the lunar missions, the Apollo program, the Mercury, the Gemini programs prior to the Apollo program, which put man on the moon. The Apollo 11 mission, I saw last night at the Astros game. The Astros do a lot to pay tribute to that. The name the Houston Astros comes from the astronauts and the space program itself. And they've got some hats the Astros fans wear that they've got the H logo for the Houston Astros on one side with the Apollo 11 there. This one is just wide. There's the man at backward point, and they're going to come back for 2. We've got an eagle logo on the Apollo 11 mission. That was the one where they landed on the moon. Stifled appeal. Down the leg side. Ali Khan giving chase. Will he get there? Yes. He's going to save 1 run, so it'll be 3. Given his runs off the bat by umpire Vijay Malala. So much history there at NASA. I'm not by any means a space nerd or a space nut, but it's quite remarkable seeing firsthand up close. You get an incredible appreciation for the amazing things that mankind has done going to the moon, and now they're going to try and go back to Mars. They're trying to relaunch the shuttle program with Artemis. That's the new name for the new space program that's going to get underway next year or in 2024. This one is down the leg side. So the Discovery program, you had the Challenger program after Apollo, Columbia, and then Discovery. That ended in 2011, but in 2023-24, they're going to relaunch the space shuttle program with Artemis, try and take people to Mars. There was a big festival going on there yesterday, the Moon to Mars Festival. Not only do they want to get astronauts back on the moon, they want to take them to Mars as well, as the score is now 165 for 2 after 34, as Nissard concedes a double-digit over. It's just so much there, and I encourage anybody who's here in Houston or coming to Houston for this series, in between games, we got another match tomorrow, USA taking on Oman, but Saki Muhammad is the owner of this ground, founder of this ground. He's a big fan of encouraging anybody. You get to Musa Stadium, and on the off day, Monday, get down to NASA. It's just about a 25-minute drive here from Musa Stadium, and it's a great place, whether you're into all that space and science stuff or not. There's just so much American history, so much world history there over at the Johnson Space Center.
Yeah, Peter, you made a great sell. I got to get down there at some point. Feel like I'm missing out on all this rich history, and again, don't have many memories of space missions. Born in 2003, so you said the last manned one was 2011. So I can't wait to get some more manned space missions in 2024 and have men and women up on the moon and on Mars.
Rusty Tehran now replacing Ned Travolka from the Pearland end as they're cycling through fast bowlers in short spells on this blisteringly hot day here in Pearland.
And something of interest, the pace bowlers, at least in the second spells, have been a lot less expensive than some of the spinners. We've seen them take a liking to some of the spinners. Stephen Taylor in his last over, and Nisarg Patel in the previous. Saurabh Netravalkar, however, has been very economical. Ali Khan's been very economical. So how long can they last in this blistering heat is going to be the question for the American Pacers.
So big cheers, not so much for the single taken by Paddle, but more so the fact that it's put Dev Connell on strike on 49. The fans are waiting anxiously on the fence. They've got the Paras Kodka jerseys. Going forward, we could see some more Dev Connell jerseys being worn to the ground. Here comes Tehran with Connell on 49. He steers this wide of Taylor, and you hear the roars to acknowledge a second ODI half century for Dev Connell in just his fourth ODI. Casual raise of the bat to the fans on the West Grandstand. And it's the second half century of the day for Nepal as they continue to cruise on this flat wicket, Aman.
He's looked very, very good since coming in, replacing, of course, Asif Sheikh, and he's come in, hasn't missed a beat. Deserved one yesterday, played a rash shot. Today, he's just played everything to the merit. He's again rewarded for it. Again, just 17 years of age. Savridi Aravind for the UAE. Dave Connell playing exceptionally well.
Big appeal, more to throw off the wide. Didn't look like there was any bet on that, and they've succeeded in not getting an extra added to the total. It's going to be given as a dot ball by umpire Leslie Reefer Jr. Yeah, Dev Connell learned a very harsh lesson 2 days ago in the match against Oman. But he soaked up that lesson with that, frankly, terrible shot he played. He's been much more disciplined on this occasion, and he's reaped the rewards of that. 50 off 64 balls so far. Rusty digs it in short. And you can hear the chants. Nice one, Rusty. Coming from the American fans.
Giving them something to cheer about here. Again, we talked about them breaking that partnership with Asif Sheikh and Dave Connell. Well, they need to find a way to break up